The fifth edition of Talkin Tar Heels starts right now. Hello and welcome everybody into another episode of Talkin Tar Heels. This episode is going to be the case for the QBs. In this episode, we're going to discuss the battle that UNC football has on their hands for the starting quarterback position. And I will give my take on who should start for the Tar Heels by breaking down what each QB would bring to the room should they start, and we'll also discuss the reasons why they might not necessarily win the battle. So we've got three QBs to break down. Let's get straight into this. We're going to start with a guy whom you guys may be surprised to see me even mention in this video, and that is Jacoby Criswell. Criswell returns to Chapel Hill after a year at Arkansas. He was a backup there, so he didn't see a whole bunch of time on the field. He did throw for 3 touchdowns in garbage time. So the main thing that Criswell brings to this room is seniority. He's got the most experience in terms of time at the college. He was with Carolina for a while, although not with Chip Lindsey as the offensive coordinator. He's the elder statesman in the room. He'll bring that leadership. And that's why I think that he will at least have a shot in this QB battle, is because of the leadership and experience that he brings into the battle. But here is why I don't think he will win the battle, and that is he'll be fighting an uphill battle. He's going up against two QBs that are more talented. They've got more in-game experience, and they've also been longer in the offense. Criswell transferred in a lot later than Max Johnson, and of course Connor Harrell already had a year as a backup. So that's why Criswell will not win the job in my mind, and that is his overall breakdown. Now we move on to Max Johnson, the second of the three QBs that I'm going to be discussing. Johnson transfers in from Texas A&M, where he led a struggling quarterback room. In 8 games, he threw for 1,452 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 5 picks. It is worth mentioning that he did play for Texas A&M, so he was in a SEC that has a bunch of tough defenses. So the pros for Johnson starting would be he has the most in-game experience. He played a lot at Texas A&M, and even though he may not have played the best, he has that experience, which could be critical for a quarterback room that lacks it otherwise. So he's faced some tough defenses, and he managed to only turn the ball over 5 times while facing those tough defenses in 8 games, which is solid. It's not terrible, and I do believe that that's something that this staff will definitely look at when choosing a quarterback to start. And the cons, though, he may not have had the best team around him, but he was really inconsistent. He didn't really establish himself as the leader in that Texas A&M quarterback room. So can he do the same here, I guess, is the question, and will he remain the starter if he wins the job? So now, the third of 3 QBs that we're going to be breaking down in this video is Connor Harrell. And I think this guy is probably the most talented of the 3 quarterbacks. He's a former 4-star recruit. He's got a lot of upside, and but the only issue is he's inexperienced. He got 1 game last year in which he could really shine against West Virginia, and his offensive line kind of failed him. West Virginia was all over him all day. So Harrell has shown flashes in the passing game. He's got the ability to throw deep. We saw that in some garbage time last year. He can move around the pocket. He can scramble. He's the best runner in this group of quarterbacks that Carolina is evaluating to see who will be their starter. And I think he could even be a bigger running threat than Drake May and Sam Howell were before him, which would be huge for this offense. It could bring in the read option into play, and it could just open up so much more for Carolina. And I think Carolina could have a really good rushing game if Harrell starts. The only issue is he lacks the big game experience. He only played 1 real game against West Virginia, and he's got to prove that he's ready for the moment. Harrell looked a little bit jumpy in that West Virginia game. He was kind of impatient. He stepped up in the pocket too soon sometimes and kind of forced too much. So he's got to prove that he can handle the pressure and be able to deliver when Carolina needs him to. So let's look at what my take is. And my take is I think Harrell should start. I think we've got to throw him in the fire and just see how he does. I don't think starting Max Johnson is going to be good for the overall future of this program. While he may be the better quarterback to start right now, I think Connor Harrell is the long term answer at quarterback for the Tar Heels, and I think he needs that experience. So I think we need to just start him right off the bat. Now, who will win it? I could see this staff just starting off and just putting Max Johnson out there. I'm not directly opposed to that. I just don't think it's the best idea for the overall future of this program. He'll likely start against Minnesota in my mind, just because of the experience that he brings to the table. And however, I will say this: I would not be surprised if Harrell is the starting quarterback by ACC play. Max Johnson could very well likely struggle, and Harrell gets put in, and I think he could just bring a whole new dynamic to this offense, and that's what I'd like to see. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're still sticking around, make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. I'm hoping to get out some shorts content soon. We're still not quite sure how that's going to work out. Drop a comment for suggestions, and I will see you guys next Saturday.